Hey, good evening. And this is a special live recording of a new program special, EIDL Live. A lot of viewers in the second stimulus check and second stimulus package and the right now money of this channel have asked for questions and assistance about EIDL. And so I thought, why not bring back the old favorite? I wrote, excuse me, I did nearly 2,000 EIDL videos from April to the present to today, starting on April 25th, and continue them for months. Every nuance you could think about for EIDL, but now as more viewers are getting EIDLs ever before, I thought this is a time to bring back EIDL for questions and answers. In this video, I'll be answering your questions you have about EIDL. So if you have any questions about EIDL, how to apply, am I eligible? How do I do a reconsideration? How do I get my credit up? What is the credit score? Who can get it? What about EIDL for this and what about EIDL for that? Ask the question because I'm here to answer it. If you're a little confused with all the live recordings, there's a lot of them. Today I went live on Holidays LALATE, which was a general update about your second stimulus check in the middle of the day. Minutes ago, I just went live for Being a MITCH to cover unemployment because it was important to answer questions about UI, PUA, and FPUC. I know a lot of you have a lot of questions on how you're eligible for UI and PUA, but this one's about EIDL. If you have questions about the stimulus check, CARES Act 1 grants, how to find rent, how to find utilities, and more, join me on Purple Power Live tonight. I know it's a lot of shows, it's hard to figure out which one's for which, but ultimately this is the easiest way for me to figure out how to answer your questions because it's important you get the questions answered. If you have any questions for EIDL, start dropping them right now. Len, 570 credit minimum for EIDL? Yes. In fact, it's a little bit lower, but I always say 570. The reason is why when you do an EIDL, the moment they're about to review your application, then they will do a credit pull, and that credit pull takes you down anywhere from 6 to 9 points. And so bringing that 6 to 9 points, you need a little bit of buffer. So that's why I call 570. Can we reapply for EIDL if we need more money? No, you can do a reconsideration to ask for additional to raise your benefits. It's very hard. How long after signing EIDL loan papers does it take to get funding hit the account, says Jen. So Jen, if you have signed the documents, meaning you accepted and they have accepted, then the issue is how long. It has been anywhere from 24 hours to, under the current environment, no more than a week. If it's been more than a week and they've accepted, then you should be calling them around the clock and asking for tier 2. Remember, when you get an offer and you accept, but it shows pending, that means they have not accepted yet. But if they have accepted, then it's important to call up SBA and ask for tier 2 if you still haven't seen any funds within about 7 days. That's a little bit too long. Is there any grants for Oklahoma City? Yes, if you have questions about CARES Act 1 grants, join me on PurPow Live tonight at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. I'm glad that helped you, Jen. Anyone else have questions about EIDL? How to apply, how to do a recon, how to, my daughter made $4,000 last year, had to shut down her business. Does she qualify? Photographer, yes. So Hugh Smith has a great question. Photographer, yes. So if she had to shut down her business because of the pandemic, you either said 4,000 or 40,000. If it's $4,000, let me go over that number for you. She would look at her Schedule C, line 1, and if it's $4,000 is a gross revenue and her cost of goods sold is 0, then she would get $2,000 as an EIDL. If it's $40,000, then she'll get $20,000. That's how it works. It's gross revenue minus cost of goods sold divided by 2 is the amount of the loan that they give you from EIDL. All really very simple. Any other questions? As the screen goes blank. It's so weird. Now and then the screen goes blank. If your EIDL loan gets denied, do you still get a grant like before? No. But what you should do is if you got your EIDL denied, you should do a reconsideration. And you may get the grant in the Biden administration. I was laid off, I'm a W-2. If that person said I was laid off and I have a W-2, can I get an EIDL? No, EIDLs would not, you would have to have a Schedule C at least. Let me give you an example. If you were to Macy's and you have a W-2, but you also cut people's hair on the side and you declare that income on Schedule C, yes, that could be the applicant. The Schedule C is the applicant. Then the screen goes blank again. I just do. Hello. I live in Texas. It won't let me finish the application. Why? That's really strange, Frank. So you get stuck on one of the pages? That's really strange. I would change browsers. If you're using Chrome, then switch to Firefox. Yes, that is true. Los Angeles launched 2 grants, 8,000. I think it was $500 for the businesses. $30,000 for the restaurant owners. That's just not really. They should not be giving $30,000 grants to restaurant owners. It's just enough already with that. Any grant recommendations in Massachusetts? Yes, we had someone get $14,000 in rent in Massachusetts. Thank you for the replies this afternoon. It meant a lot to me. I appreciate that, Hugh. And there was someone in the chat earlier. I was a little snippy to that person, so I'm sorry if I was a little snippy to that person. I later saw the person's comments, and they were nice to other people. Ultimately, when things pass the screen, sometimes something looks really haterish, but then when I read it again, it's not as bad. Any grants in Georgia? Yes. So let's go back to EIDL. If you have more questions about, I worked DoorDash, made $7,600, still doing DoorDash down, still dashing down. Do I qualify? Still dashing, not down. I don't know what that word means. Do I qualify? Yes. So if you made $7,000 for DoorDash 2019, you would get a $3,500 EIDL if your gross revenue was $7,000 and your cost of goods sold, line 2 of your Schedule C, is 0. Very simple. DoorDash, Uber, Lyft, Airbnb, you get approved really quickly within 24 hours if you declared it on your Schedule C, because it's just a simple, clean application. Nothing's easier to get approved really fast on EIDL than DoorDash, Uber, Lyft, and things like that. What is EIDL? Economic Injury Disaster on SBA. Is EIDL collateralized at $25,000? It is, or it might be $25,001. I always told viewers back in the day, $24,900. It became sort of a running gag because countless viewers accepted $24,900. They literally chose exactly the number I said on the recording. So yeah, there are hundreds of thousands of viewers across the country who now have an EIDL for exactly $24,900. So if you get an EIDL offer of $50,000 and you do not want to be collateralized, then change the number to 24,900. And that was a subject of about 200 recordings. Can you raise it down? Can you raise it up? When can you raise it down? When can you raise it up? Here's how it works. If you have an EIDL offer, you can raise it down. You cannot raise an offer higher than what it is. So that's sort of obvious. Then when you accept it, and you already have it a process, and you already have the monies, can you reduce it or can you raise it up? Under the contract, you're allowed to get it raised up, but they're not honoring it for some reason. The website to go for EIDL is sba.gov for Joel. It is very hard to raise EIDLs, even though it says in the contract you should be allowed to raise an EIDL. Can you reduce an EIDL? Yes. To reduce an EIDL after you get the money, you simply give some of the money back. And that's the simpler issue. Any other questions about EIDL? Is it taxable? Oh, I forgot. That's a really good question. I don't remember. She didn't file anything. Should she file Schedule C now or a non-filer? Yeah. So if you qualify for an EIDL based upon these recordings but did not file a 2019 return, get that 2019 return filed and then apply. It only takes, 1 day to get the tax return filed. Any other questions? If you're just joining me, what I did today was change it up. And being a Mitch is was a live recording about unemployment assistance because there were so many questions about UI, PUN, and FPUC. And then I thought people need a recording about EIDL. And so I made this one about EIDL. Purple Power Live tonight will be about CARES Act grants and about stimulus checks and everything. I'm just here. I don't qualify for EI. I just love the live recordings. I appreciate that. I appreciate it too. EIDL is not taxable, says Tom. Okay, thank you, Tom. Doesn't have to be paid back. So EIDL is paid back over 35 years approximately, which is a really long repayment, and nothing has to be paid back for the first year. So you can get it, hold it, keep it in the bank, and then get through this pandemic and say, I didn't need it. Here you go. And you can give it back after a year for free, and it doesn't cost you a penny. There's no principal interest to give it back after a year, within a year, which is a wonderful safety blanket for a lot of people. And for other people, let's say you get a $20,000 EIDL and you only needed like $2,000 of it, $3,000. And then, after a year, you're like, I don't need the remainder of this. You can give all the rest of it back and you're good. You don't have to keep it. There's no early repayment penalty either. If I'm on SSI and SSI, can I get EIDL? Only if you have a Schedule C on your tax return. Do you have to have a 570 score? Yes, you need to have a 570 Experian Vantage 3.0 score. They only use Experian, they only use Vantage, and they only use 3.0. Do they have the money now for the EIDL? Yes, so they're literally giving the money within minutes or hours after you're approved, faster than we ever seen. So people are applying on a Friday and getting the money by Monday or Tuesday, if they're approved that fast. Yes, there's the money flies right out. One viewer said that she had an accepted offer and that it was taking a while. Can you get a second EIDL if you previously applied and received one in last April? No, not for the same business, but if you have another business, yes. So if you have 2-3 businesses, absolutely. I've made 1,000 recordings about that. One business is one tax return, another business is Schedule C, another business is a separate tax return. Absolutely. Any other questions? Where's Indiana's money? How long do I have to have my business open to get an EIDL? So you would have had to have the business open before the pandemic hit. Generally, what I've been talking about is EIDL is you would have a 2019 tax return. It's not just for businesses, as Joel said. Uber and Lyft, some people don't really consider businesses. It qualifies for side hustles, side gigs, Uber, Lyft, Airbnb, things like that as well. So it doesn't have to be a traditional business that people would say with a business tax return. Doesn't have to be. How long does the business have to be open? It has to have been open by at least by the latest January. I've had applicants apply in January and then they ask for a pro forma of where you would have gone. So they basically look at how much money you made in January, February, and then the pandemic hit and you made zero. So then, okay, January, February, you made $2,000. I expected you would have made $2,000 every month. So you would have made $24,000 this year. Okay, we'll give you a $12,000 loan. That's how they do it. Very simple. With that, thank you for joining me for the special recording of EIDL. Join me next for Evenings at LALATE at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Big developments about your check. That's Evening's Check. I'm having massive developments about your check, followed by Purple Power Live. As always, stay informed, stay focused, and stay LA for more.